buddy. All right, we're on.
All right, let's go.
Good. Happy New Year. It's nice seeing you. I got your photos. So how's the joint?
What's that?
We've done all right for January, surprisingly.
But my toes look amazing. Whatever the fuck I can.
It usually dips after Valentine's.
All right, we ready to start? Will, you ready?
A week or so. The weird patterns we have.
No, not really. It's cold out there. It's winter sucks. All right. Thank you for coming to the Sugar House Community Council meeting for January. I'm Landon. We're going to get started with this fire station. Come on up, guys. I see 4.
They're my support.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me fine? Well, welcome to the first meeting of the year. A lot of changes have happened in our district in the last year. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been a little red SUV. Squad 3 is no longer driving and serving in our district. Their purpose was initially to offset the heavy apparatus response. That's been reallocated downtown to take the load off of some of the more busy companies. To that end, though, for future planning, the chief and his staff have been working hard to get approval for a ladder truck for our station. So in the next 6 to 9 months, depending on when it gets here, staffing permitted, we're going to be putting into service a new ladder truck at Station 3. So you'll see ladder 3. That'll be very good for us. Yeah. With this mini downtown that we have in the built environment, it's going to be really good for our response and be able to help us do some good work and also help our mutual aid partners around here. So you can expect to see that. That was a definite boost for our community and the service level that we have. Today, we had the good fortune to promote 2 new individuals in the fire department. Captain Halverson was promoted to battalion chief today, and he's a very dynamic man. He's going to be taking the position of Battalion 1 on B platoon, which is not our platoon, but he'll serve the eastern half of the city in the couple years going forward. And we're all lucky to have him. Awesome individual. And we also promoted one of our paramedics to the rank of fire captain, where he's going to be assuming one of the training division captain spots. And also very awesome, energetic person who also serves as a chief in what was that town? Rocky Ridge, the chief down there with a lot of experience in small to rural EMS and also in wildland firefighting, something that we're all concerned about in this district. So, he's a good person to have in that. He's going to definitely push our wildland program forward. A lot of good work has gone in that direction over the last few years as well. Purchasing a Type 3 engine, which is a wildland specific larger fire engine, a lot of training. A third to half of our agency is well trained in wildland and able to deploy nationally. So that's a benefit for us. So it's been a busy year, as it always is. Salt Lake City did something on order of 70,000 EMS and fire calls over the last year, quite a bit. We're a small piece of that pie, but I think we probably have the best clientele in the city. We go home pretty happy every day. That's good. And so we're happy to be here for that. So we have a couple little things to talk about for winter safety. I hear winter is coming, right? I was just looking at the advisory. It's 2 a.m. tonight to 11 p.m. tomorrow. There's winter advisory across most of the state. So be careful when you're out there. You know how it is for the first good storm of the year. Everyone forgets how to drive. Slow it down. Maybe consider putting together a safety kit for your car if you have to commute very far or you're just spending time on the road. Keep a couple of blankets in there, some non-perishable food, some water, things that aren't going to go bad. So in case you get stuck in the snow, you run out of gas, or you're just stuck, you've got something to fall back on if you need it, right? And it's also a good idea to have those same things for your home. We keep a lot of perishable items there already. Think about alternative heating means if you have it. If you've got space heaters that you're running off of generators, make sure the generators are outside. Believe it or not, we have to remind people not to run internal combustion motors inside of the house. Do not bring your charcoal grill inside. That's not going to be good either. These are all things that's why warnings are on all products. Do not eat this thing, right? That's why the desiccant packet says do not eat that, because some people will do that. So we're always actually pretty concerned. At this time of the year, we get an uptick in carbon monoxide incidents. So make sure that you have a current and working carbon monoxide detector. If you have any kind of alarm out of that, call us in on that. We'll come investigate it pretty quick. And so it's a silent killer. You won't know that it's there. So make sure you have one of those in your home. If not two, one in your basement near the furnace and one in your bedrooms is a good place for that. Okay. Um, as the snow does come, one thing that we'd like to ask of you is as you're shoveling your sidewalks and your driveways, please ensure that we have a visible and usable hydrant. The city policy says that we should have a 3-foot radius around the hydrant to help so we can identify and use it. We don't want to be digging out the hydrant when your house is on fire, and you don't want us digging that out either. We'll do it, but it's going to just delay everything, right? So that's kind of something that we request, and we don't have too much of an issue in this neck of the woods. I think we have pretty good compliance from our partners up in this area. We had a pretty interesting fire yesterday down on Alden Street. It was a car fire and originated in the engine compartment because it was jam-packed full of pine cones from squirrels. And so how many of us have these fuzzy, cute little menaces in our yard? A lot of them, right? We feed them in our backyard. Maybe we're not, I got to check my car before I go home to work. But I had never seen that before. And so we put the fire out, we pried the lid open, and it's just full of pine cones. And it was only from the heat from the motor that started it. There's nothing else other than the pine cones. And I was joking with one of the bystanders, and she mentioned that she pulled out a 10-pound bag of walnuts from their tree in their yard out of the engine compartment. So this is actually emerging as a problem around here. So when you get home, take a look at go to the parking lot. Everyone pop your hood. Make sure there's no pine cones or walnuts in there. Little critters, when it's warm, they're going to seek shelter in there. So we want to pay attention to that, okay? That's pretty much all we have for our safety message. Do you have any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
So I have one of those monitors in my bedroom. It's always got a big red light on it.
Okay.
Mean it's bad?
Well, when they're bad, they'll get a random beep. Yeah.
Okay.
Does it have a digital display where it says 0 or something like that? No. Okay. Yeah. Typically, if it's working, you'll like the smoke detectors. You'll see if you look laying in bed in the middle of the night, you see a little flash of a red light or a green light. It's sampling. The CO detectors are all a little bit different. There's going to be a push to test button on it. Push it, make sure it sounds. And when there's a random, an alarming smoke detector or carbon monoxide, it'll be a consistent beep, 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 beep. But if you get beep, beep, and some time, beep, beep, and some time, odds are it's a battery issue. And if you pull it down and you get your readers on, like I need these days, you can look at the back and it might tell you that a beep every 6 seconds means low battery, and then you can address that. But if you have any questions or concerns at all, it's beeping and maybe you're not feeling well, absolutely call us. We'll come as fast as we can. We'll do the monitoring that we can, and we'll get our hazmat crews here, and they'll take care of the rest for us.
Should we be replacing those periodically?
It depends on what you bought. Some have batteries that can be replaced.
No idea what.
Okay. Is it mounted on the wall? Okay. All right. So it plugs in. So that's powered by that, and so it's receiving its power. It has a battery backup more than likely. Pull that off. See if there's a battery you can replace. These days they have lithium ion smoke detectors that say they're good for 10 years, but they're not, right? You'll know when it starts to beep. Okay. So I'm still a fan of the old school one where I change the battery when I spring forward and fall back. Right. So, but you should be able to pull that off and inspect it. And if you have any questions, you give us a holler. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Up here on the East Bench, where we live up against a lot of up here on the East Bench where we live up against a lot of wildlife urban interface here, House Bill 48, that has to do with the wildlife urban interface. Part of that is making sure that our properties are defensible. Can you talk about what the Salt Lake Fire Department does to help us make sure our properties are defensible?
We've got a few things that we do. For years and years, probably greater than a decade, we've been doing a push called Ready, Set, Go. And you'll see us out in the communities and the areas that are most affected by the interface. They're about to grasslands, trees, things like that. And we go out and we give out documentation to help you conduct your own self-assessment with lots of information in there. On top of that, we're doing interface assessments these days. There's another title for it. I can't remember what it is. But if you get in contact with our emergency management division and you request a wildland assessment, we'll come to your home and we'll take a walk around with you and look at your house, look at the vegetation around it, look at the state of your gutters, and give you some ideas on how you can best mitigate that. Right. And so if you go to our website, and I should have this memorized, I just don't, you can navigate it and you can find some information on it that'll get you to some of the self-guided stuff. But we will come out if you live in the interface, or if you butt next to an interface, we will come out and do an assessment for your home. Okay. Anything else? Great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, so we learned last month that Sam Fallows has been promoted, so we're gonna have his replacement. This is Detective Gordon Swift. You have better hair. Oh yeah, smaller for sure.
Yeah, no tattoos. Okay, yeah, I'm Sam Fallow's replacement. I've been in the department about 17 and a half years now. You'll have to be patient with me on the east side because I've been a west side car the entire time. So Glendale and Rose Park, I have dialed in. Up here, I'm still getting my bearings. Like you said, winters, we haven't had too much going on in the neighborhood for the last month or so. District 7, the one exception would be the homicide over near Fairmont Park. And yeah, so I mean, so there's been two things that have been noticeable to me numbers wise in the last month, and there's been a decent amount of thefts, and then the homicide. I would say both those pretty much look like they were transient related. They were all, a lot of this is all in that area between Sugar House Park and Fairmont Park. So I think a lot of that's transient driven. I think the thefts are partially being driven by the warm weather. They're out and about more. They're moving around. I'm guessing a lot of these are opportunity, packages, other things. The homicide didn't seem to be related to the neighborhood. It was an RV. It was a guy who dealt drugs out of that RV, and that was over a drug dispute. It wasn't like an ongoing thing in the neighborhood. It was, I think that's just happened where he happened to be parked when the dispute kicked off. So I don't think it's something to be concerned about ongoing in that area. I mean, but again, you see those RVs or something else, it's a lot of short stay traffic. Definitely call them in, report them, because yeah, the less they're in the neighborhood, the less likely we'll be to get that kind of thing. Going forward for the winter, I mean, so far we've had warm enough weather. This hasn't been an issue, but keep in mind it is going to get colder again, likely. The car warm-ups every year. The car's left running in the driveway. I was an auto theft detective for 4 years, and those are the bane of my existence in the wintertime. It's just because I've got, some of those drug addicts, they'll tell you they wander into the neighborhood in the morning and they look for the exhausts and they look for the puffers and they just free ride and they're off and running in that thing. So yeah, when the weather chills down later this week and going forward, keep that in mind. You guys have any ongoing issues, questions you'd have for me? Yeah.
I have a question. What is the law for RVs parked in the residential area?
I got to look into that a bit. It's, to my knowledge, there's not a specific, there's some time limits and other things. And so that's why we need to get those over to parking enforcement so they can monitor and chalk the tires and do all that. Because usually when like a patrol cop drives by, they have to be able to establish that timeline. If a patrol guy rolls by and it's legally parked and it's not, say, expired reg or uninsured or something, their hands are kind of tied. So that's typically parking enforcement has better teeth on that because they can monitor them and violate them for the time and all that stuff.
And I think typically it's like 48 hours.
Yeah, it's a matter of days. It's not like months or anything, but they have to establish that timeline. So a lot of times you see a patrol guy go by. It's not that he won't do something, but he's going call to call. He has no way to establish that 48 hours or whatever the time limit is. Yeah.
If you turn around and look at this picture, so those buildings on the left, and my studio is just right outside the left side of the picture, but there's a lot of transients that camp there every night in front of the doors. And I know Arcidio sometimes has to step over them in the morning when they get there. And I'm sure a patrol car is not going to see them because they're in the shadow. I don't know if anybody ever walks to patrol the plaza.
Well, so yeah, if you call those in, we actually have specifically a homeless resource squad. And then one of the other changes for the new year is for a while under the old administration, the bike units were all assigned to kind of a central like special operations type thing. And so they got kind of just put wherever, whoever's pet project in the city was. Individual bike units are back to the patrol divisions. And so Liberty East Side has its own bike unit again, in addition to the homeless resource squad. And so, yeah, they will be around, and it's his name's Alan Christensen is the sergeant over that. And he is a stud. He's a go-getter. You'll see them out constantly. And so if you call those in, put those on the radar for those two units, as well as me, then they'll definitely get attention to those. Oh yeah. So well, so you know who if I remember right, who just took the homeless resource sergeant spot is Fallows. So he would yeah. I'm pretty sure that's where he got put. So yeah. Yeah, no, but yeah, Alan Christensen, yeah.
So earlier today, I was up on 800 South and by the site where they're going to have the new hospital, allegedly. There were
Oh.
signs all around there
Are you
saying,
talking about the old Sears building?
yeah, the old
Okay, I
Sears,
know
but
what you're
the
talking
pond,
about,
yeah, the little pond in the middle
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Salt Lake. But there were signs on the posts saying no camping. So I don't know if this is a question for you guys or maybe for our counselor, but could we get same signs put around Fairmont Park or any of these other areas where, we have these problems? We don't want murders happening, obviously, in our neighborhood. So is that one
Yeah.
way to try and stop that? Because then you can just move them on.
Yeah, that's it. So the front of your store there, is that like, I don't know that so it's just so that's private property or is it public sidewalk they're on? Do you have the trespassing signs on the front of your building?
I don't own the building and there's a lot of different businesses there, so I don't think there's,
So
there's enough.
so what yeah, one of the
Yeah, I don't think there are enough.
Yeah, so it's one of the things they can do that's called the city has these very specific, they were designed by the city's attorney's office and the department, and they're trespass signs that you can put on those buildings. Maybe contact your building management to have, because we supply them and they just put them on. And what that enables the bike and the homeless guy resource guys to do, it gives them a little more teeth because the sign's very clear, no trespassing, no loitering. It lists all those things up front. And so the minute they even go by and see a guy hanging out underneath one of those signs, they can stop them, detain them, arrest them if they've got warrants, all that. The signs do help a lot. And so if your building management has those signs put up, they can contact me directly, or they can contact the city and we can totally facilitate getting those up. And that helps. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you can call me a dumb old man. I don't watch TV news, and I'm not on the net. I'm not connected to a neighborhood website. This is the first I heard that we had a murder right near Fairmont Park.
Yeah. 2 blocks north. Yes.
Oh, 2 blocks north. Th- Oh, by the Smiths. Okay, and it was how long ago?
It was a couple weeks. It was in December, I think, maybe a couple.
Oh,
2-3
is
weeks.
that one? I heard about that one.
Yeah. It was a
Okay.
drug dispute. A guy who had parked an RV there.
Okay.
It was, most of us who've been on a while recognize the name. Put it that way. It was not a random camper.
No, I
Yeah.
I live over by the 7th East exit on I-80.
Okay.
A quarter block from the S-Line station.
Yeah.
I'm currently a pedestrian, have been for about 4.5 years, although that's got to change. I come what I call beautiful downtown Sugar House every day. Either if I don't get the S-Line, I walk up the Parley's Trail. I was involved in having both those put in. I see the homeless a lot. Please tell whoever, the chief or whoever. I see them in the daytime. They're not there at night. Most of the time I walk home at night. I don't leave whatever pub I'm in until after the S-Line has had its last run. Personally, I'm not scared of the homeless. They have never bothered me. They have never harassed me. I know there's a whole lot of people, especially in this room, that don't feel the way I do. That don't, whatever, out in public like I am. But please tell the chief and the other officers, I think you're doing a good job on getting the homeless to move on out of our neighborhood. I feel really strange because I was involved in both putting in the Barley's Trail, and I was the first one that ever spoke up for Sugar House Charlie. It became the S-Line. And I think it's a good thing, both of those. But in the era we live in, we also got the not so good stuff. So thank you to the upper management of the SLPD that from what I can see, and I see it more than probably any other single person in this room, that you keep the homeless moving on. So we either don't really have or actually feel like we have a threat. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, there has been some good progress on that. We're hoping in the next year or two. So we have dedicated green space units now for park areas and trail areas. That's going to help. One of the things that long term might be able to help if you'd contact your state representative about this. So they're proposing, and it's still in the works, that new homeless facility up on 2200 North in Rose Park. Now, one of the proposals for that is to have a fair number of what we would call like involuntary beds, people for civil commitment. And to be honest, that's probably the next big step. A lot of the guys you guys see out here over and over are what they term service resistant. Basically means they turn it all down for usually it's either a drug or a mental health issue. But so if you would push with your state to get involuntary beds at that new facility, getting another 100, 200 beds that where they could commit people would be, I think, city changing, honestly. So yeah, contact your state reps about that.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for your first meeting. Yeah, thank you. All right, Roxy, you ready? Oh, wait. Let's go to these guys first. Come on up. I'm going to have you introduce.
Yes. Hey, Sarah Woolsey, Sugar House. Sugar House. Whatever. I go to Sugar House businesses, and one that I do is Dirk's Cleaners. And Casey Kang and her husband Shin are one of our fellow businesses, and have been having a challenge related to drive through business at the Swig on 700 East. And she, yeah, well, but I'll say that. And so she wants to make us aware there are safety concerns that are happening. And as we are, a community to support her and her business and Safe Sugar House, she'd like to talk about some of the concerns. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Casey Kang. I think someone knows me.
Hold it right up
Yeah.
there. There you go.
My name is Casey, and my husband and I have owned Dogs Dry Cleaner for 16 years. The business has been part of this community since 1960s. I have too many things on my hand. Okay, so we have been there more than 65 years. So we care deeply our neighborhood, which is I am here to, address the serious impact that the ongoing traffic on 7th, and there is our dry cleaners over there, and it was like a coffee shop. And then so many cars. So over I think more than 1 year. It started November 2024. The traffic on the 7th Street has been getting worse and causing serious problems. So not just for our business, but for the safety and well-being of our whole community. So I have brought some pictures to clearly shows. So there is driving against traffic. Even the customers' cars, even the delivery trucks. During the summer, it was so busy, and it happened almost every day. So I like to discuss about this situation is more than inconvenient. It has become a significant public safety concern, the congestion on 7th East. So increasing the risk of a traffic accident, cars stopping in the middle of the road, something like that. And the trucks and the other cars driving against the traffic, and it also often blocks the disabled the parking lot area. Oh, I think I didn't bring it, but many cars just stop there. So the blocks disabled parking spots, so customers who need it but they can't use it, and creating unsafe and unpredictable conditions for pedestrians. So just a block all around there, something like that. So and negatively impacting nearby businesses, especially small businesses like us that rely on safe and accessible customers entry and blocking access. There is our dry cleaners over there and just block all entrances, exits. So we are asking for city's support in addressing these safety problems and working toward a solution that protect local businesses like us, resident and surrounding community. My husband and I we tried everything we could do for 2 years, and like Sarah, many our customers tried to help us, but we couldn't get any help from city, UDOT, police, all departments. So that's why Sarah encouraged me to speak up in the community meeting. So I am begging you guys, please help us. Yeah, please help us. And thank you so much, Sarah, and this community, and letting me. Yes.
So I never go to SWIG.
You know what? I would try in contact UDOT, police, city, all kind of department, but yeah,
I understand that.
nothing. Yeah. So yeah, all the customers' cars and even the delivery trucks, the against driving on the 7th Street. So
So I have a question.
yes.
I don't go to SWIG,
Mhm.
but I know people that do.
Uh-huh.
And if I understand correctly, you can't go inside there, right? You have to go through the drive-in window. Is that right?
So before I come this meeting, I asked my lawyer, and he said, don't talk about SWIG because we filed a lawsuit, so it's a lawsuit is going on.
Okay, well, with that,
But-
as a business owner, that would
Mhm.
be the first thing that I would do would be to see if SWIG could invite people inside. That would alleviate so much of this. I know it's not their model. Even. Mm.
So
thought would be that, I could get this, for the online. I wonder if we've noticed that the business north
Mhm,
of
mhm,
Swig has blocked off the backside of the
Yes,
parking
I
lot.
think
So you
we-
can't drive.
this one,
Right. So you can't drive out
7.
that way.
So there are 3 business complexes. One of us between Swig and the other property.
Mhm.
There are hair salon and the ice cream small company.
If that wasn't closed, you
Mhm.
would at least avoid wrong way drivers.
You know what? It was open, so everybody could go around. But the soda shop companies customers just block everywhere,
Right.
everywhere. So that's why they try to protect their customers' parking spots. Yeah. Yes.
You approached the city council about this?
I believe I sent emails and
I'm happy to speak about it
yeah.
in terms of, I mean, so, is it okay? I don't want to interrupt. your
Oh, no
presentation.
problem, no problem. Yeah.
Is it okay if I borrow this? Yeah, so this is an issue that we are very well aware of. And honestly, we have reached out to every city department to look into this issue to help us figure out, like, are there certain codes, policies, and things that are happening that violate their ability to be able to do this? And we do have a clear violation of safety related to 7th East. And UDOT has taken action to communicate with SWIG that they cannot block traffic related to like being a major thoroughfare. When it comes to some of the property line challenges within this space, because it is private property next to private property, it is a legal question between the two private property owners, as opposed to the city being able to say, like you can't, like there's different pieces there. And I know that that's one of the avenues you've
Sure.
pursued
So
related.
that's why I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
any
100%.
private
Yep.
thing.
And we're
Just
not,
like
Yeah.
safety concerns on
yeah.
that.
So we're,
Yes.
and I don't want to put you in that position
Okay.
either.
Mhm.
I will say that even from a business licensing standpoint, we've looked into that. And they are operating within the legal bounds of the license that they have available to them. There was a question, as I'm sure many of you know, about drive-throughs being maintained in Sugar House. And this is allowable even within the application of that ordinance because of its proximity and location further down from the technical business district where that was implemented. So we are working to see if there are options here, but because we are looking at 3 private properties that are abutting each other and that one of those is creating challenges, the business is taking the best course of action, which is a legal course of action, to be able to remedy the issue. So yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about anything private, but I have just question about the city business department.
Yes.
So there are easement. Previous owners made easement because that is a business area. So easement is a private agreement. So city cannot allow any construction or any building or anything in the easement area.
Yes.
But how could they got the drive-through lane in the easement area?
It's a good question. I would have to look into that before
Sure.
I could give you
Okay.
like I know the answer to that for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Uh-huh.
Or certainly, I'm more than happy to do that.
Sure.
I do know that, like I said, because I asked the question, how are they even operating that drive-through? And business licensing did look into it. I don't know if they considered some of the maybe new builds that happened related to that, but I'm certainly
okay.
welcome to look into it.
Sure. So that is our building, and that is a coffee shop.
Yes.
And coffee shop had just one
Yep,
drive-through.
just the one.
And all 3 properties never had any problems.
Yes.
But now 2 drive-through lane between the building.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And
yeah.
I have
Sure,
watched
sure.
this
Yeah.
property
Mhm.
multiple times
Okay.
during various times of the day because it does matter what time of day you go in terms of, and I think that's been one of the other challenges is so one of the main times that we see like it for UDOT enforcement, UDOT is also working on enforcement during rush hour traffic, many other places in the city, and it's just been difficult for them to be able to schedule that response. But we're working on it. We're
Okay.
documenting
Okay,
it
great.
and taking photos.
Good. Thank
So
you so
I hope,
much.
like I said, I know it's not the clean answer of like the city could come in and take action and we could fix this tomorrow. We certainly would, but we're definitely aware and working on it.
Great. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you have dry cleaning, please go to Dirk's. Wouldn't be a question. You're in dry cleaning. How could you go wrong? All right, Roxy, where are you? Ready to hear from the Sugar House Park Authority, the new chair of the Sugar House Park Authority.
Happy New Year from the Sugar House Park. Yay, New Year. So yeah, as Landon said, I am the new chair for 2026. Thank you. I'm excited. So I don't have much to update, just New Year. Reminder that we meet 10 times a year, second Thursday of each month. We are, I guess for this year, we've got lots of stuff you guys know about Highlands rebuild, the Sizzler lot. So, we're involved in talking with everybody about all of those future potentials. And I'm just here to say hi, and I'll be around this year. And yes, Judy.
It looks terrible right now. I know you're gonna redo it.
Oh, yes. So Salt Lake County Flood Control does have budget money for dredging Sugar House Pond. So last time we did this was, I think, 2017. George might remember. But it just is natural, right? It's a low-lying area, and we had that really high water year, 2023. 23, 22. So the silt's really high. The money's there. I think they even solicited for, a contractor to do the work. We were told that we have to talk with the Army Corps because it is a retention. So I think that's where it's at, is just confirming that we can move forward with the work. Was going to happen December. We're told January. It's going to happen hopefully before the spring flow.
So what I heard was that it wasn't going to be a lake anymore, just going to be a stream. Is that a rumor?
Yeah, it's going to be the same for now. Yeah. They did, are holding water to try and allow it to dry. It's going to be, you'll get to watch it this year. It's going to be a big effort. I can't remember the number, like tons of silt, right? So, but it's just to allow, one, it has to be deeper to prevent like the algae bloom, the smell, stuff like that. So, yep.
And you meet the second Thursday of each month in the garden center?
Online. This month we're meeting like once a year in person. Since COVID, it's been online, but we do like to meet once in a while. We had maybe you guys know Holly Nichols. She finished her 8 years volunteering on the board. So she stepped down, finished her volunteer time. We had another member who had to step away. So we have 2 new board members coming on. January will be their first meeting with us.
So what time is the meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. We meet at 6 p.m. the second Thursday of each month. We do not meet in July and we do not meet in December. So 10 times a year. We are on the public notice website, so similar to other entities, you can go there, sign up for reminders, see the agenda, read the meeting notes. So we are that public meeting that you can find on the Utah Public Notice website. So yeah, thank you for your continued support of Sugar Hills Park. We've got an active website and online. We're going to be working with Tree Utah more, especially with our arboretum. So expect to see more tree plantings. I will say you probably are aware of county budgeting season as well, and that we did not receive as much funding as we had hoped to with the match from the city. So we will not be doing any pavilion replacements this year. So reserve those new ones. We're not giving up. There's still grants. There's still going to be slower funding for them. And we're thankful for the new ones we have. They're great. So this year, just to let you know what will be happening, we're going to replace this railing on that pedestrian bridge from Hidden Grove Pavilion. So this is on 17th. The railing's actually not really to code. So we're going to replace that, hopefully add a sidewalk so you don't have to walk over the basketball court. I think that'll be nice. And then the culinary water line in the park is critical. So this feeds all the restrooms, fire hydrants, the maintenance building. This isn't irrigation, it's just culinary. So we are doing a study this year. That study will tell us how much that construction costs, and that'll most likely go forward for funding requests to the city and county. I don't know what that replacement will look like of a culinary water line. I'll let you know, but first step is just to study it, get a design, and then we'll know what that process will look like, but pretty critical infrastructure. So more mild year, but we're going to still keep working on our arboretum and keeping the park clean and open to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, we have a volunteer from Nate Lewin's campaign. Come on up. This is Cooper. He's going to take a couple minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year to all of you. May it be wonderful for all of us. I'm here. I'm a surrogate on behalf of State Senator Nate Lewin's campaign for Utah's 1st Congressional District. As you may have known, if you've been keeping up with the news, there was a ruling recently which upheld a specific map from Prop 4, which gave Utah nonpartisan redistricting. And finally, after I don't know, I think the last guy to represent Salt Lake as its own district was Jim Matheson. And that was years ago. So finally, for the first time in quite, well, Ben McAdams he was under the current map. He was elected from 2019 to 2021 for a district down south that's largely going to lie outside the boundaries of this new district. It'll go from North Salt Lake largely down to Sandy. So if you live, and from, I think, more or less the East Bench to Magna is going to be the new boundary of this district. So all of us are in it. We have a real opportunity here to elect someone new to Congress and get some real genuine representation centered on where we actually live. If any of you guys have any questions about the campaign, right now I'm collecting signatures to get him ballot access. If you do sign, you won't be committing yourself to vote for him. The information will only go to the Lieutenant Governor's office. This is just to get him on the ballot to afford voters the opportunity to vote for him, specifically in the Democratic primary, because he is running as a Democrat. If anybody has any questions that I can answer, or anyone's curious about kind of the state of the race, it's pretty competitive. There are a lot of Democrats that are pretty eager to run for this district. I think it's like a D+24 district. So not surprising that this would be a pretty crowded primary. Lots of people are excited about the opportunity. So, yeah. Yep. That's correct. Yeah, the Republican Party in the state of Utah has closed primaries. The Democratic Party has open primaries, which means that if you are unaffiliated, if you're registered as a Democrat, if you're a pragmatic or begrudging Republican, as I know many people who are, even if you're a committed Republican, no judgment from me, you can still. There you go, a Utah Rhino. You have the opportunity to vote in the Democratic primary. Also, if you are looking to get more involved, caucus night for the Democrats is going to be March 27th. I'm a precinct chair, so I'm going to be directing people from my neighborhood down in Holiday at caucus night. You can find the information on which party precinct you belong to through the Utah Democratic Party. So if you want to get more involved in the goings-on of the Utah Democratic Party in what could be a pretty exciting year, not only at the federal level with the House of Representatives, but there are quite a few districts at the statewide level that are looking pretty competitive this year. So if you're interested in that as well, the more the merrier as far as we're concerned. Yep, that's correct. I'll have my little clipboard. I'll probably just be on the table over by the exit. Yep, exactly. I'll be here at the end of the meeting. All I'll need from you is if you are interested in signing to get Senator Bluen ballot access. By the way, I don't think he represents this area. Your guys' state senator is Stephanie Pitcher, I believe. But yeah, Nate is a good friend of the community. Yep, I'll have the opportunity for you to get him ballot access. All I'll need from you is your print name, your signature, date of birth is optional. Address, and then the date. I cannot fill in any of that information for you. If I do, that would be fraud. I could go to jail. But more importantly, the signature would be invalidated. So if you are interested in signing, I'll be there at the end of the meeting. Thank you all very much for your time this evening. And Happy New Year.
Sorry. Wait, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry. If I have questions, I'd be happy to
Sorry,
answer.
it's not a question. I just wanted to add to the ballot question. If you are registered or if you're not registered as a Democrat, you have to request that ballot. So you can go and vote in person, but if you want to get the nice ballot mailed to your house, you have to request that.
Yeah.
And you cannot vote in multiple primaries.
Yeah.
So if you are registered as a Republican, don't vote and then try to vote in the Democratic one too. That'll won't go well.
Your votes will be invalidated if that happens.
Can you?
I got you.
Can you sign? Okay. Can you sign multiple access petitions?
Yes, you can. So you can sign to get multiple candidates access to the ballot. If Derek Kitchen or Ben McAdams or Kathleen Reby have already contacted you or canvassed you and you've signed to get them ballot access, that will not invalidate your signature on any of them. If you sign for Nate, it won't invalidate it for Nate if you have already signed. You can only vote for one candidate in a primary, but to get ballot access, you can vote for multiple.
That's not true.
It's not correct anymore. You can only vote for ballot access for one candidate.
Yes, you can only sign for one petition, and it's first come, first serve. So if you sign for Nate Bluens and Kathleen Reby's, it's whoever's. I think it's first come, first serve. Yes.
Okay.
So if you want your name, if you're like, I love all these candidates, sorry,
Yeah.
you got to choose.
You have to choose one. Thank you for clarifying. Since when has that been the case? Okay. Okay, cool. I was told the opposite. So thanks for clarifying. Thank you very much. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity, guys.
If you don't know what precinct you're in, you can ask Will Coker. He knows everything. Mark, come on up. All right, so Bill Knowles and I are going to run through potential construction projects for the next coming years. We'll make this pretty quickly. But Mark's going to start with 10th and Elm. That's should we call it underway?
What?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Mark Isaac. I've been involved in an awful lot of projects around here. Sometimes I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. This is 10th and Elm. This is the Victorian Mansion that's next to Smith's, and unfortunately, the homicide was across the street. We actually have had some of our employees move into that house because we've had a hard time securing it for all the obvious reasons. This project ran into some troubles just with the financing, interest rates, cost of construction, so on and so forth. But we're finally underway. We signed GMP contracts with Big D Construction. Financing's in place, funding's in place. We've just gone through a couple nits and gnats with the city permitting process, only because it's been long duration, so it had to go through a re-review. But this work will be underway. It's on Elm Street, 10th and Lincoln are the three streets that side it. I just brought 3 photos. It's all been approved. It was approved a couple of years ago. We spent an awful lot of time with the community council. I think a bunch of you will remember that. But I just brought this to show you how we're preserving the Victorian Mansion. And the Victorian Mansion is actually going to be a big part of the amenities for the residents and the community. We've got a really, really interested restaurant group that's kind of changed our thinking a little bit, that we might do something similar to, remember the old chart house that was in the Devereaux Mansion downtown? So similar to something like that. I don't know if that's going to come to be or not, but they're very interested. So we're pretty receptive to the premise of making it a little bit more community-wide amenity. Do you want to just click through the other couple slides just real quick? Whoever's got that. This is the fitness center side. This is off of Elm. Your Victorian Mansion's on your left-hand side, back into the amenity center of the building. Just showing you how the streetscape is engaged. And then just one more slide I just brought, just as a refresher, because we went through the approval process with all of you. Oh, shoot, Judy, I think it's 3 years ago now. Yeah, man, time goes by. And I think that's it. One more. Yeah, and then this is across the street from Smith's, and this will be the leasing lobby. And then you can see the edge of the Victorian Mansion again. Worked really hard to preserve the Victorian Mansion. It'll be brought back to all its glory as part of the project. It won't change. We'll just refresh everything. 240 units, 238 units, Judy. We actually are doing, we've done a little bit of changes on just some of the floor plates a little bit for smaller units to make them a little bit more affordable, but there is not an affordable component to this. So it's as usual, it's about a 26-month duration because we've got the big dig. Unfortunately, they move glacially. Well, it'll be speedier than some. Sugar Alley was about a 60-month process. Anyway, thank you. 10th and Elm right now. We'll come out with a more formal name and launch in the future with the owners. Yes.
Oh,
The carriage house, yes. And then, gosh, I wish I could tour all of you in our backyard. I know that it's
have
it's
you
started.
started?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's starting. And then I just wish I could show you the underground pool and the underground basketball court that's in the backyard. In the backyard of the Victorian Mansion, just off the side here, is a buried basketball court and a buried pool that nobody in the community knew was there. And it's you literally go through bookshelves like a Clue game to find it. It's like hidden rooms, and you'll see it when we rip it up. It's fascinating. I wish I had the ability to walk you through it, because whoever had it originally that did that work was pretty darn creative. No, it's off the old carriage. It's next to the carriage house. You,
Okay, I don't think a lot of other people heard. Is the carriage house coming down?
yes, it is.
That is so unfortunate.
Well,
And beautifully, totally complements Victorian Mansion. It would be a great, a big space. That's my opinion. I think there's other people here that have that opinion too.
well, here's the dirty little secret. At some point in time, someone was using it as a paint booth and an auto shop paint booth. There's so much toxic shit in there that we got to clean out. It's not savable. It was never savable. If anybody knew how bad it actually was, it was a bit of a surprise to us when we bought it. So,
So,
but it's being cleaned up.
are you going to take out the swimming pool and the basketball court then? I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, it all has to come
So
out.
you
The
should take
building will sit
pictures
on the top
first.
of it.
Take pictures first, so we at least have.
I will for sure. And next time I come back, I'll show them
Where's
to you because
Lori?
you'll enjoy it. Thank you, everybody. I don't want to take any more time.
Thank you. Come on, Bill. All right, Derek. I'm gonna let Bill take.
Okay, I'll start. Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
So,
Bill and I are very good with technical stuff. So we put together a PowerPoint.
yeah.
You'll see.
Look at that, eh?
We did our
Yeah.
best.
Did that with my eyes closed. You could tell. But okay, let's get started. I want to start real quickly here before the slide's not on this. Hello there again. We are not having any road construction this year. And I just said that, and I'm saying, but there's a couple of small exceptions. We are having some mill and overlay on East Kensington, Hollywood Avenue of a block or two at a time. Yeah, oh, okay, good. Up east of here, east of 21st East. And so there is a couple of minor upkeep things asphalt wise that are taking place, but nothing big, except the rumor was that they were going to redo 21st South. Did you hear that? Because it didn't. Okay. Maybe that was just a rumor. So, but anyway, we are ready to go because that's the best thing is the biggest problem is that damn road stuff.
People show kind of the Sugar House business district 1 and 2. So we're gonna start with Highland High. You go ahead.
Well, you know all the stuff about Island High. You're the Highland High guy.
All right. So we're gonna the Highland High is gonna start the end of February, 1st of March. They're gonna take out the whole northeast parking lot, so everybody will park on the south side, starting end of February. They're gonna start with the retaining wall next to Sugar House Park. It sounds like. It sounds like he's gonna be at Sugar House Park Authority meeting tomorrow night, right, Doxy? Is that right? Tomorrow night or next week, hopefully. So that's where that's gonna start. That probably won't be done until 2030 is the guess. It's gonna be a while. Okay. Next.
Hopefully it's a little faster than Skyline. The old Sizzler parcel, a real popular item these days. I think there's a vote coming up in the city council next month. March, okay, March. So that has gone as far as it's going to, everything has pretty much been put out, discussed and kicked around. And to the point that it will be on the construction list this year, not bloody likely. But anyway, it's going to be, they're going to see what's going to happen there. The Bed Bath and Beyond, and I think maybe, I don't know if Mark is still here, but anyway, that's on hold, right? So I'm actually, I'll get back to it, maybe a preface I was going to give. I'm going to list a lot of projects that have been percolating for quite a while. And to the degree that some of them will happen this year and some won't, we're going to try to identify those and let you know what to plan on. And I think
You won't say anything this year on Bed Bath.
you heard it right there. Nothing this year on Bed Bath and Beyond. The Zions Bank block, there is some movement on that project. Some of you might not have known it was a project, but the Gardner Company has been working on that for some months, maybe a couple of years actually. And it's very possible. It's moving through the system. It is residential. The idea is that the bank will re-enter the bottom floor after the construction, and it will be occupying still Zions Bank on the bottom floor. And it's going to be something, again, that we'll probably have to look for a height from, yeah. And so that is something that is moving forward, and it's on the maybe list. If it picks up a little steam, it could actually happen.
This year, Bill.
Not likely.
Highly likely.
Highly likely. Okay, you got, see? Okay, I was getting close to highly likely. I had a maybe on it. Highly likely sounds better. The old DI parcel, that is very likely, God willing, and the creek don't rise. It will be coming down starting around the 1st of March. And it is part and parcel of the S-line extension. This has to happen as part of that. This has been planned and replanned and planned again for probably 2 or 3 or 4 years at least. And anyway, it is imminent. It is going to be happening in the next couple of months. S-line extension also, as I said, in tandem with that, once that building is down, you will see construction begin on the S-line. It will begin on the west at its current station location, and we'll start to lay double track up Simpson Avenue and crossing Island Drive into the Olson property up against the building, what is it, the yogurt building there. Anyway, that is a major, probably the major project of the year, and it will begin, as it says here, February, March. It will be probably about a 2-year, they're talking 2-year project at this time. And in tandem with that, the Olson family's been planning, as we have been in negotiation and discussion with them over the past year, 15, 16 months, they are going to be remaster planning their development area there with one component for sure that will be new, will be residential. There'll be additional commercial space and residential and additional parking in the form of a parking garage that is ultimately going to be built over the streetcar station. They have decided to, it was some discussion about us trying to work together on that. And as the more we went, the more it didn't make a lot of sense. And so they made this independently, but it was given it to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They decided they're going to wait and let us get done and get out of the way. And they are currently working with a partner that they've teamed up with to create the kind of situation there that, and I think they might want to see what that S-line is going to do also. And when it gets in there, and then maybe make some decisions from that. But anyway, that's going to be on down the road. I'm sorry. Simpson on the north, Stringham on the south, 13th East on the east, and Highland Drive. Yeah, the shopping center.
The Target shopping center.
Sugar House Commons. Sugar House, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and the old York building, Irma's place, is that what we came up with? Emma's, okay. We got Irma, Emma, I heard Sarah, I heard Larry's place, wasn't it, at one point? But anyway, okay. Anyway, it initially came out as Fairmont Heights. And what it is going to be is, I think, 125 unit affordable senior living unit. And excuse me, a lot of people anticipating that, and it's going to be a real good thing for the community. But it also turned out they're doing it on exactly the same time frame and exactly the same place that we're going to be building the S-line. Excuse me. So we have been talking a lot with them just this afternoon. As a matter of fact, we meet with them every 2 weeks now in coordinating all of the, especially complicated was utility situations. So all of that is happening right now, but we think that we're going to be able to pull this off without tripping over each other or impacting each other. More on that as we go. The 24-hour fitness, it's more like the 24-year thing we going on. I actually heard a rumor that they were going to apply for an historic building designation when they got it open, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work. But yeah, they're putting in a bowling alley right now, I think. But anyway, boy, oh boy, it is as it says there, optimistically. Spring, summer, they will set the new record that was previously set by the folks across the street as to the length of time past their time due. It will be a 4-year, a 2-year project. It's taken 4 at this point. So it is Monterre. And as was commented to me the other day, gee, that south building looks kind of boring. Is that the way the whole thing is going to look? And the answer is no. It's the affordable unit, not, not happy to say that it's going to look that way because it is, but the north side across the street is really going to look pretty spectacular. Fairmont Park, I think we did hear, we've got a date on that. There's going to be not till 2027.
Early to mid 2027.
Okay, but it's going to happen. And there's somebody that really knows what she's talking about. Okay. And 10th and Elm, we heard about that. And the Midas block, it's kind of moving again, but it's not going to happen this year.
You will see an application in front of you on the Midas block. My guess is April. Might be soon.
Okay. So we may see, and it is a maybe on my list here, of seeing some action on that this year.
We have a design team underway with concepting, and we're making sure that we're meeting new codes and conditions and zoning because it's all changed. It's taken a little longer than we thought, but we'll be along to present to community council
So
in
this is
90 days.
This is Midas, Even Stevens Building.
Yeah, it's
Paracha.
That-
Yeah, that's what it is.
it's
And a lot
2.5
behind
acres.
Okay.
Up to IHC.
Yeah.
2190 up to IHC.
Old car wash level.
We gotta find them. Where's the empanadas going?
Okay.
We're gonna find them downstairs.
All right.
Right here.
Yeah, the high. Those are selling the high.
Keep me moving here. Okay.
All right.
All right. And that one is a mystery. I don't know, other than we know that it's been redesigned from an apartment into at least a residential apartment building into townhomes. And we have, that's as much as we know, as much as I know.
I'm
And
just so
it,
appreciative that our contractor group that was working so hard on behalf of the city left that place fantastic.
well, they did. It looked,
And so it's idled for now. I don't
Yeah.
know what the schedule is yet. There's been a slight ownership change in it. So you'll probably see something in the next calendar year.
yeah, so we're not going to see anything this year on that piece of ground, I think. And Lori,
No, liquor stores up.
no, they're shopping for a new deal and having some discussions we hear. This guy, and I even saw this, I heard it here a week or two ago, and there it is, a quote, I guess, probably from Building Salt Lake. But anyway, they're back to the table. They have submitted some ideas to the planning department saying we want to come back and try this again. We heard the message. We know we're not going to do what we thought we were going to do, but now we have some other ideas. Now, we haven't seen, at least I haven't, and I don't think anybody in planning has, but they've been informed that, yes, we are coming back to the table. So that'll be exciting, huh? No. Anyway, they will, we won't see anything happen this year, obviously, on that, but they are going to be coming back with some more ideas to bring out here to you guys. So is that all we know? Is that what we
Does
got?
anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Oh, whoops. So
No,
we're gonna
no,
make a
no.
motion for Leah to be a new.
Actually, believe it or not, I never thought anybody would actually ask that question. But the fact is, we saw it coming. How about that? And certainly Leah and certainly your council member here had a lot to do with that because we did see that coming. And all of that kind of stuff was taken care of with a lot of negotiating and yeah. Plus we added capacity to the water and sewage lines to accommodate all those new units that were proposed, but certainly not being built yet, with the anticipation of, gee, someone's going to come along and rip this street open again.
I'm just talking about the construction traffic that'll be on 21st South. the heavy
Well, there's going to be traffic. Oh, Leah, you want to answer that?
Wait, we're gonna do two things at once. Come here, Leah.
I do not.
Hey, no, come on.
I don't want to come.
We're gonna
I'm in
hurry
my
you do
gym
another
clothes,
thing, too.
guys. I wasn't gonna be in front of you.
I can multitask. Hey, so Leah's here tonight to be a new Sugar House Community Council trustee. Nibley Park. Can we make a motion before she talks? Thank you. Second?
Hey.
All right.
Oh.
Everybody good? All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Welcome aboard.
guys.
All right.
Thank you. I'm sworn in. I feel like I may have in my athletic gear. I know. Sorry, I showed up. You're not wrong. As more construction happens in the neighborhood, there's construction vehicles on the roads, but the problem was that the road had not been really maintained or improved in such a long time that any kind of heavy truck traffic was just causing serious deterioration. But one of the things that Highland and 21st South have is that they did a concrete treated sub base. So rather than hauling all of the road base out and bringing all new materials in, they mixed it with concrete and then put the asphalt on top. So that's a more durable road product and it lasts a lot longer. So what we used to drive on both of those roads won't happen with this type of subgrade and then the new asphalt on top. So that will sort of prevent a lot of that wear and tear that you're talking about.
That's engineering talk there.
I know,
Right?
I know. And
Yeah.
13th East, we used that famous high mod that I've been talking to you guys about,
Yeah.
right?
I don't have anything on Smith Ground Building.
We'll dig. We'll dig around. Yeah. Oh yeah, they need to tear that building down. Bill's on that too, right?
What's that? Which one was
Wells
that?
Fargo, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
it's bad. It needs to come
that'll
down.
be an exciting one when it happens, if it happens. Yeah. They'll be back to talk to you. Anybody else?
Yeah. Can you imagine what's inside? All right, awesome. Thank you. All right. I think we have something pretty cool. Jean, come on up. Jean's going to tell us some stories. So Jean's been at our community councils for a long time, meetings for a long time. She has wine night on Fridays. Everybody's welcome. You really don't want that? All right.
This is Brooklyn. I'm here to talk to you about search and rescue, in particular, search and recovery. Brooklyn is my 8th search and rescue dog, but she is strictly search and recovery. So she is a cadaver dog. Her training began at 10 weeks old. She was put into obedience. We do obedience, and we also do what we call introduce her to odor. Since she is a cadaver dog, she's been introduced to cadaver. So we work with sources that are teeth, kneecap replacements. Anybody going for surgery? I'll take what's ever left. You've got bloody bandages. I'll take bloody. That's what we train the dog on. Now, she is what we call cadaver 1, cadaver 2, HRD, which is human remains dog, and she's what we call, she searches water. So if they're missing a body, some body went off the boat in Strawberry Reservoir, she's out there looking from a boat, trying to tell us where the body is. She also does shoreline, so Texas, Central Texas, the girls' camp, and all the people that went. Brooklyn, looking for the girls that, thankfully, we found all of them. My previous dog, we did a search down in Hilldale when the floods went through, and there is still, and periodically, we'll go out and say, all right, let's check this area again and look for the remains of that 2-year-old that is still missing. We are certified as a team. So Brooklyn doesn't get the certification. I don't get the certification. We get the certification together, but then we are a member of a team. Brooklyn and I are members of 2 teams. We're a member of locally Great Basin Search and Rescue out of Park City. And we also have what we call a national certification from NASAR, National Association of Search and Rescue Dogs, which then allows Brooklyn can get called anywhere in the world if there's a major, we can get called anywhere in the world if there's a major catastrophe. Like I said, training begins 10 weeks old. When is she done? She's still training. I'm still training. It never ends. We go out all the time. We learned a big lesson in Hawaii, in Maui. When we were training the dogs for burns, we were getting cremated ashes, which they cremate bodies at about 2,000 degrees. Well, all those bodies in Maui, it was 4,000 degrees. So the dogs didn't know what they were looking for. So now we try to get a hold of things and to get things to burn hotter and hotter and hotter so the dogs can recognize odor. Because we ran into troubles in Palisades and Paradise because those unfortunately, these big wildfires are burning hotter and hotter and hotter. And then when the fire department says this area is clear, the dogs go in looking to see if they recognize human remains in either burnt houses, in the burnt woods, in the roads going in and out. It's the dogs that are searching for those remains. So it's burnt remains. I used to do Abbey work. I'm 65. You don't want me doing Abbey work. You don't want me on the skis trying to get there fast enough to do an Abbey rescue. But she's trained in deep snow that if we get a call, search and rescue, they haven't found the lost snowboarder, or they haven't found the lost skier or the hiker, and then a snowstorm hits, and then it's buried under feet of snow. She's trained to recognize the odor through the feet of snow. You say, how is that possible? These dogs have an oral olfactory that has 2 nostrils. Different odors go in either nostril. That's why when you see a dog we call get an odor, you'll see the dog lift its head and try and pinpoint where and what this odor is coming from. I'm going to get a little political. We were part of the DOJ's team, Department of Justice team, that we were searching the old Indian school grounds for the bodies of the kids who were murdered by all those wonderful priests and nuns that were running these schools. and we were working in conjunction with Canada. Then we got a new president. So our program went completely out, but Canada is still following through on their properties up in Canada. So we'll go search old indigenous people's grounds in Canada. Every once in a while, we'll get a phone call from a tribal council that says, we feel a lot of our people disappeared in this area. Can you search the area? And since it's tribal land and has nothing to do with the DOJ, we'll go in and search those areas also. But most of when you're watching the news, hiker missing, search and rescue, and then a couple of days later, you hear them say, we've switched to search and recovery. We're search and recovery, not search and rescue. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. So, yes.
Why did you decide to get into this?
I tell people I'm a recovering attorney. I was a New York State real estate banking attorney practicing in New York City across One Liberty Plaza, if you remember, old New York, facing the towers. The towers came down, ran out. I knew 57 people that went down in the towers. Some firemen, some workers, and some. And for the next 3 or 4 months, I watched the dogs going in, searching the rubble. And I turned to my husband, I said, I'm doing that. Wow. So that's when I made the transition from practicing law into search and rescue.
So you said that you're going to old indigenous lands. How long is the dog able to detect these?
How old? Thousands of years.
Really?
They have dogs. A teammate of mine, once a year. It's not. I would say a couple of 100 years is really when you're getting still good to take. Now that doesn't mean every dog you train is capable of doing it. Some dogs are much better on big odor, and some dogs are better on small odor. She happens to be good on small odor. That's why we sort of transitioned to looking for old bones and old. And so 250, 300 years. I have a teammate that flies into the Black Forest of Germany every year, still looking for American soldiers and recovering old bones from World War II in the Black Forest. But so and you say, well, but, in order for her to pass that test, they would bury bones down, and then they would surround the human bone with animal bones. The decayed rabbit, moose bone, elk bone, deer bone, whatever. If she alerts on the animal bone, it's an automatic fail. Because what happens is when we find what we think is a site, it's a big deal, and they bring in all the equipment so they want to make sure the canine is correct. When we go in and we say, there's bone down there. It's like, tell you a story on the Jordanelle. We were on a training mission. It wasn't with her, it was with my previous dog. And our president had gone out to hide, we call it source, but in water you put the cadaver in a canister that has a special hose that comes up to the surface, and you bury, you drop, anchor down the cadaver, and then odor comes up through the hose. And we're training the dogs, and you put out 3 sources, and you have somebody driving the boat, you have somebody on the boat sort of observing, and then you have a handler with the dog. So the first time we go out, the dog, the driver of the boat, the dog alert on the 3 sources, and we're coming back into shore to get another dog, and the dog, we call it lights up. It's alerting. So we're like, Earth, did you drop source in the water? And he's like, no, I didn't drop source in the water. So we marked on the GPS where this dog It's a lure. So then it's Kurt's dog to go out and the other person to drive the boat. And his dog alerts on, those three come back. He says, let's just ride over where Wrecker alerted. Well, we get over where that was, and Kaiser goes nuts. So we're like, almost about the same GPS coordinates. So then it's my previous dog Gunther's turn. And some people in water train their dogs, if they get in odor, to dive off the boat and swim around the odor. We don't do that because we never know where we're going to get sent. We're going to get sent to Florida with its gators. I don't want my dog driving, jumping on here. Or even when we're doing just this fast water, I don't want my dog going in there. So we train them to alert from the boat. So we're going through, Gunther does it, we get back, Gunther flies off the boat into the water, and I can't hear. So we had the coordinates, we go to the station, and we're like, see these GPS coordinates? You guys just got some fancy equipment. You may want to take some underwater pictures and see what's down there. And there was a body. Somebody had dumped a body in the drawer, and there's a whole big thing, criminal case over it. So, and then sometimes we have to be really careful about how we do it and what we do, because sometimes it's a crime scene. So we have to take all these courses, we have to be really particular about when we're looking, mostly it's when we're looking for a single individual, and we're not sure why, and it ends up being a homicide, that we have to be careful what we allow the dogs to do and what we do, and marking our prints, and then we have to be very careful because we log everything we're doing because we have to go to court to testify. Well, how do you know the accuracy? Well, see this training log? This is how many times, so a lot of this stuff gets put into evidence, and so we have a busy life, much better than.
I have a quick, do you have?
She flies. I was she has more mileage. Well, she has more cargo plane mileage. Because a lot of times we don't go in on commercial. If we're going to a seminar or something like that, then you'll see us on Delta Airlines. You'll see us there in the line. Or if we're getting called into something, they usually throw us on cargo planes with FEMA, with Red Cross, and any supplies that fly in. So it's not usually very comfortable. Brooklyn is 5 years old. 5 years, so she's in her prime. She's a good girl.
And is there a point that it's like, okay, you're retired?
It depends on the dog. It's, some people have their dogs and they're working till they're 12, 13 years old. And some people have their dogs and at 6 years old, they say, no, I'm sad and forgettable. Right. Just like us, right? Right. Yeah. And her commands are in German. So it's very true. I can be in. Is the lady from Sugar House Park still here? Yes, Steve. Please don't throw me out of the park. I'm off leash. I'm working with her. She's very well trained. And I'm working with her. But it's really funny. I get two things into the house park. I get people coming up to me and speaking German to me, and I'm like, unless you know how to sit down, and search for a dead body, I can't help you. And the other thing is, people come up to me, are you a dog trainer? Well, I'm a dog trainer. Can I ask you a question? And I'm like, sure. I have these kids, and we got this dog. It keeps biting my kids, and they bring on the butt. They said, "Oh, you got an Aussie." Yeah. How did you know you had an Aussie? I said, "You do your research. They bite." I said, "If you wanted a pet, you should have gotten a border collie. He'll stare your children down." But you know a lot about dog breeds and stuff like that because of teammates. There's no such thing as a perfect search dog. It's not a German Shepherd. It's not the Malinois. It's not the Rock. It's you find a breeder who's breeding dogs. One of the best dogs I worked with looking for human remains was a beagle. It was a fantastic beagle, searching just for human remains. So it's you find a breeder who's breeding for that specific purpose, and then you pray you get the dog out of that. She is one of my best guard dogs. One of my best dogs. I got her by accident. During COVID, FEMA, in its wisdom, decided they only wanted male dogs for like a 6-month period. If you all kind of look at each other, and it's like, okay, you know, girl searches. It's the girls that go into it. But the 6 months, it only lasted 6 months. They only, she was born in that period. Her breeder called me and said, the best dog I've ever bred is a female. You want her? And I said, yes. So, any other questions?
Why does she keep looking at you?
No, she's if you have to, if she's conditioned, you can pull on her tail, you can pull on her ears. I let kids, because when you're out there searching, you do not know what you're going to run into. So therefore, if there's any sign of aggression from any of the dogs, they are out of the program. SAR dogs are not allowed to do bite work. You get people, oh, I have this protection dog, now I want to do search and rescue. SAR dogs do not do bite work because you don't want them biting the person they found. So there's very specific guidelines on what makes a search and rescue. Right.
Thanks, Sarah. Go first. Okay, thanks, Gene. Thank you. That was great. Wine night, Friday nights. Derek, you find it? Sarah, you want to go first before Hannah? We gotta get her slides. Derek's missing the slideshow. What?
Right.
Hey, Sarah was just inaugurated? Is that what we just called the ceremony you just had? Yeah. She's official.
We're back.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So not a ton of updates from the city since last time I was here. We kind of talk about the fact that January, like late December and January, we don't have the formal council meetings. And so because of that, there just hasn't been a lot of city action. As far as what to expect for what's coming in January, we will be having an opportunity to elect a new council chair and leadership in some of those spaces. And then we work together as a full council to be able to set priorities for the upcoming year. I can tell you right now with 100% certainty that one of the key priorities in the city is going to be the budget. So many of you have probably seen what the outcome of the Salt Lake County budget process is. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the city, so like similar but different. And so as a part of that, we're going to be facing another pretty like similar situation in the city related to expectations and needs and expenditures versus revenue, and that those two are not going to match up. There's a lot of reasons for that, but one of them has to do with decisions that are made during the legislative session. And so I just like to highlight that for all of our Salt Lake City residents. They are going to be discussing the municipalities, which include Salt Lake City's, as well as the county's ability to change property taxes. So they are looking at running legislation related to that. There are pros and cons on both sides of it. I pay taxes too. Like when we talk about the idea of like, let's just go for more, you know, you're like, no, like that's not good for anyone in this economic environment. And we also, as you've heard up here, we have needs across the city, you know, whether it's making sure we're supporting the improvements to Sugar House Park, you know, some of the basic upgrades that we have, like everyone should cheer for Hollywood Avenue. Just so you know, those residents had fought for that street for over 12 years. It suddenly like fell off the list, but it's back. So good for them. So there's things like that we just are working on. So what I would appreciate is two things. Number one, just make sure that when you have an opportunity or you see something in the news, contact our representatives with the Utah State Legislature. It does make a difference whether you support something, you have questions about something, you're against something. It's good to have that dialogue in place, because then they can say to their fellow colleagues, I've heard from my residents. These are the concerns. So that's request number one. And then request number two would be if there are additional issues that are Sugar House specific that you want to make sure we're talking about as we make the plan for City Council for the full year, please come let me know. I'm here at these. It doesn't have to be today, but it could be. I'm always here at these meetings, and you have an opportunity to either chat with me or you can send me an email, or my phone number is equally posted as well. So it's helpful to get that feedback. Thank you guys for the opportunity. And then last but not least, I just have to give a shout out to Tina. So they always give you the opportunity when we do oath of office to, give a little like acceptance speech. And so, you thank like your friends, your family, you make fun of your sisters because like, this is my platform to do it. But then you have an opportunity to usually talk about something that's really important to you. And one of the things that's exciting about the new council is it is the first time that we are majority female representatives for Salt Lake City. And some of you may not know, but Tina historically was an expert who worked with HR in Salt Lake City and did some of the early work to be able to not just say, we're going to hire whoever shows up, but to set intentional goals for making sure that we had a workforce that reflected our city, both including gender and other diversity. I was then able to highlight one of my favorite groups with Salt Lake City Fire. We have multiple chat teams. One of those, it's a social worker with 2 medical responders. One of those teams is all women. And I got to go on a ride along with them this summer and witness what happens when you have the right person to help the resident who needs help at that exact moment. And so just for those of you who are unaware, it's the little things like that in the city that make the biggest difference. And we are so fortunate to have Tina, to have her amazing husband, George, who also has an incredible story about like service to the community. And there are so many people across the city, but I just wanted to make sure everyone here is aware of the amazing things that Tina has done to set us up for success, because it was those small acts that have led to the fact that we're now a majority female council. So way to go, Tina. Okay, Hannah, you're up.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. If anyone wants a tote or a sticker, I have some. So you can come see me after. Thank you. Okay, I also have a pretty brief update today, but I'll jump right in. The mayor is giving her State of the City address on Tuesday, January 27th. So that can be streamed from the SLC TV YouTube channel, where you can hear about, some of the things that the city accomplished in 2025 and the things that we hope to accomplish in 2026. Also, reminder about snow removal. This is maybe me just manifesting that we will wake up to some snow tomorrow. Please. Snow should be cleared from all sidewalks by the adjacent property owner within 24 hours after it stops snowing. So yes, if it does start snowing 8 hours after a storm, the clock resets. You have some extra time. Some of our neighbors might need a gentle reminder about that this year. You can do that yourselves, or you can report those issues to the city and we can do that gentle reminding to folks. And make sure that you clear a path that's typically the width of the sidewalk. If it's a really big sidewalk, then 42 inches wide. That's what we need to be ADA accessible. And yeah, if you have any issues, here's the phone number to call, or you can report any snow issues on the Salt Lake City mobile app. If you are not able to shovel your snow, let me know and I can try and get you connected with a volunteer in the neighborhood. Always good to help out our neighbors who aren't able to take care of their own snow. Lastly, we have a fun event coming up, or a number of fun events coming up at City Hall to celebrate the Milano Olympics. Milano Cortina, thank you, I should say. Milano Cortina, to kind of get us in the spirit. We love the Winter Olympics here in Salt Lake City. Looking forward to our own games in a few years, or I guess 8 years, but who's counting? So we're going to have watch parties at City Hall. I know it's going to be cold, but we'll have warming areas for folks with lots of fun entertainment things that we have planned. So opening ceremonies on February 6th. You can come down to City Hall starting at 4 p.m. To watch the broadcast together. We want this to be a community-oriented thing where we all celebrate Team USA together. So yeah, save that in your calendars. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes. Yeah.
How do you sign up for these?
Thank you. So we have an SLC core volunteer group that is housed in the mayor's office. It's currently being restructured a little bit. We're trying to make it more active and easier for people to both volunteer and be connected to a volunteer. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me directly and I can make sure you get on that list. But a lot of it also is at meetings like this. I know that all of you are active members in your community and probably look out for your neighbors. So sometimes it's very, oh, I know someone who lives on your street. But we also try to do that like broader citywide connection as well. So yeah. Any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Sahara, you want to come up? Kong, you ready? Sahara, you want to come up? We're just going to hear from our reps real quick before they start the session. Hi, guys. Before you start.
Thank you. Do we have another microphone we can use for now until we get to the Q&A so that Representative Hayes has one as well?
Sorry.
Is that okay? What was that? We're good? Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hong Nguyen. I represent the East Bench of Salt Lake City up until about 9th East, roughly, and then parts of Summit County as well.
Hi guys, I'm Sahara Hayes. I represent House District 32. So for this group, that's going to be south of I-80 and then west of like Imperial Highland Squiggle.
All right, we are gearing up for another fun-filled legislative session. You gotta stay optimistic. You gotta laugh through the tears up there because it gets wild. As many of you guys know, this last session was my first session. Coming into January 20th will be my second session. It's gonna be a doozy with what we're gonna be doing here, and so we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of preview of some of the stuff to expect. As far as for what I serve on, I'm on the Business and Labor Committee. I am on the Rev and Tax Committee, on the Natural Resources Committee, and I was able to jockey my way onto the Water Commission, where all the water bills that are coming through, I'll be able to, we actually have a Water Commission meeting on Friday to hear the bills that are gonna be running that has to do with water. With that, this session, I'm working on bills that has to do, working with Salt Lake School District to work on trying to figure out how to get more alternative ways to get funding for public education. We know that, with the voucher bill, with all these other things, they are trying to dismantle how much funding goes into public education K through 12. So I am working really closely with the school district to figure out other ways, especially right now with school closures. And they have, last round, we had to close 4 elementary schools. And so we're trying to think of creative ways to figure out how we can legislatively make sure we can drive revenue through those, either not just selling it, but actually creative ways of that meets affordable housing, meets community needs like clinics and daycare and still get funding for public education. I'm also working with the school district. We have a really fun, it's going to be a 3 to 4 year project where we are going to be working on turning one of those elementary schools, Riley Elementary over on the west side, funny enough, the school that I went to over on 9th West and 13th South, we're going to be turning that into our CTE high school. Career Technical Education High School, where kids from all of our high schools, and we're going to have partnership with Murray School District and Granite School District, so kids can come to Riley 2 periods out of their day to do career training. We're working on the programming. We're getting funding. It's going to be about $30 million project to get it up and going. But we are going to be working on making sure there's a really robust programming for kids from medical to IT to aviation. It's going to be trade, working with a lot of the unions to get some trade education in there. That's going to be personally a passion project for me. It's going to be a few years before we can get it up and going, but it's going to be worthwhile. I'm running a firefighter bill that they asked me to run. They left already, but it's a CO2 bill, the carbon dioxide, to make sure there's CO2 poisoning that's happening in businesses around the nation, and we're making sure we are getting those certified properly. I'm working with Friends for Sight to make sure that kids around the state who failed their vision screening, they have the right access to get glasses and get the proper vision care that they need. And then I'm also working another one, a constituent bill with the Roslyn Heights area, where the LEA there, the school that was closed down, has to do with artificial turf that was installed at that property, and now the effect that it has on the surrounding neighbors with the amount of artificial turf that they installed. Right now, for this year, we already have the bill drafted to get more proper notification out to surrounding neighbors, especially adjoining property owners, so they have the time to get the proper inputs. As far as water issues, you guys heard that the governor had a Great Salt Lake 2034 initiative. Yes, that he's pushing right now. That's going to be a public-private partnership that he's trying to get the lake back to healthy levels before the Olympics come. It's great that they are working on it. We know it's a big economic driver, especially if the Olympics come, the world comes, and we don't have water. So that's why they're kind of paying attention to it now, or water for the snow, exactly. So, I'll take it any way I can get it in terms of if they're going to focus more on driving water back to the Great Salt Lake so we can have healthy snow up in the mountains. I'm all for all those efforts. That's all I have for now. I'll turn it over to you.
Sure.
Representative
So
Hayes is
we've
working
got,
on.
as a caucus, a lot of goals, including environment. We're looking at public education a lot, so keeping public funds within public education, making sure educators are supported, and as well as affordability. So anything we can do to make, because what we keep hearing, everybody in our caucus keeps hearing on the doors and in the community, is that affordability is a big thing. So that's sort of like umbrella. What I want you guys to take, does everybody, do you all know who your representative and senator are? Okay, good, yay! Okay, if you don't, amazing, let's look it up tonight. What I want you to do, as I want to echo what Sarah said, is I want you to get really comfortable with reaching out to us, because it is so much easier to back a decision when you have a reason, right? Like there was a time I was on the floor and we had a bill on solar, and I was like, I don't know if this is good. And I called somebody that I had met while I was campaigning. I asked him, his name is Tom, what he thought about this bill. So it's easier if we already have that email in our inboxes, and that way also on controversial issues, and there's going to be a lot of controversy. Bills have started dropping, you guys, and there's some that are very nasty. It's easier to be able to say, this is why. If you have a good why, it makes our jobs easier, and you guys are our why. So please communicate it. If you're like, this personally impacts me for XYZ reason, please let us know. Please, please, please. Even if you're like, oh, I think Representative Nguyen already agrees with me, I don't need to. Tell her anyway. Tell me anyway. Tell all of us anyway. And then along those lines, how many of you guys have visited le.utah.gov? Okay, yay! Amazing. This is the website that is going to help make the 45 days starting January 20th easier for all of our lives, because you can find out what is happening with all of the bills that are going on that are going to affect you, because we passed like over 500 bills, and I guarantee some of them are going to touch your lives. So one of my biggest tips for if you are using that website is to create an account, and then you can sign up to track bills. So if there's one, for example, my first year, there was a massage therapy bill that a lot of massage therapists didn't like. So say it's that bill. What you can do if you sign up to track it is it will tell you every time it moves through the process. It will send you an email. It'll tell you that this is no longer in the rules committee. It's been assigned to committee. It's no longer in committee. It's been assigned to the House, that sort of thing. It will make your life easier than going and having to look it up every day. And like I looked it up every day my first term. I don't recommend it. So that's my takeaway is please get comfortable with reaching out to us, and please get comfortable with the website, because it will make navigating the legislative process easier.
What will really help as well, especially when we're sitting in our committees, if you guys are an expert in water, in healthcare, in taxes, and you see any bills that come up that you have questions for, or you have some facts you want to share, please reach out. For me, myself, I love it when you guys email me or text me or call me and say, these are the things I would love you to ask when this bill is being heard in your committee. We're not, honestly, with over 500 bills, we're not able to have the time to be able to read through every single bill. So I do rely on my neighbors and my constituents to call me, and nonprofits to call me and say, hey, this bill's coming up. This is how it's going to impact our community. Can you please ask these questions? That's going to be the best way that in committee on record, we can ask the questions, be your voice to be able to put whoever's presenting the bill sponsor on the spot to kind of speak to whatever it may be that is going to negatively or even positively impact our community.
I know we don't have probably a ton of time, but questions. Well, like what, how can we help you right now? We've got lots of.
Our new detective brought up the resource center. I saw an interview with Jen Plum on MSNBC talking about it's a great idea. However, they've not planned for funding. Where do we stand with the funding, and do they still want to build this without proper funding, or what's the situation with that?
So in the governor's budget that he presented this last round, he put, I think it was 25 million first to start to build it. And that's not going to be anywhere near, because they estimate it's going to be about 70 to 80 million to build out the facility fully. And then 12 million ongoing. Is that right? Is it 20 million? The problem is, Salt Lake County really fears that is not enough to be able to really, to be able to really meet the programming they said they're going to be able to do there. It's going to then fall on the county and all of us taxpayers in Salt Lake County to carry the rest of it. So huge concern with the funding aspect of it. Yeah.
There's also a personnel aspect. We're in a healthcare provider shortage right now in Utah. And so saying we're magically going to have people that can carry out these needs that we're saying, we weren't given that magic wand when we got sworn in. So I don't know where those people are going to come from. And then there's also, I think, like for me personally, is this a right approach in terms of how to treat other people? Question. So.
And my big conversations I've been having around that campus, there is law enforcement's roles in it. Right now, I can't speak on behalf of law enforcement, but there still needs to be a lot of things that is worked out in terms of responsibilities and what the expectations are, and how much resource our law enforcement in Salt Lake City has to work to mitigate what's happening there.
And I think the hard time is preventing it from becoming an incarceration facility, correct?
Yeah, because I think someone here earlier had mentioned that part of the folks who are adverse to going and getting services that are already here, mandating them to then go to that campus is where that's the civil liberties issues that we still have not addressed yet.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Jared, get people online.
I just wanted to thank the representative for your vote on the interim committee against Dan McKay's property tax bill.
The
that
circuit
he's
breaker one.
Yeah, he's bringing back a bill to destroy the homeowners credit program for low-income seniors. And that affects a lot of people. But the thing is that Mr. McKay is targeting this program, stating that it's growing out of control, when in fact it's not the low-income seniors. 9,500 households were helped last year in 2024 to the average benefit of about $675, where in 2024, 30,000 disabled veterans households received an average of $2,048 off on their property taxes. And so you have 3 times as many households getting 3 times as much money. We all love our disabled vets and they deserve to be helped. But at the same time, they account for 87% of the property tax relief that the state of Utah laid out. The counties pay for this. 13.6 million out of 16.1 million in Salt Lake County's budget went to disabled vets. In Davis County, it's like 12 million out of 13 million. I mean, it's $59 million in 2024 went to disabled vets. And I don't believe there's any income means testing for that. In the hearing that you heard, McKay mentioned where he's got a multimillionaire who's taking that benefit. But the bottom line is we need to do something on that and not attack low-income seniors and force them into a deferral program rather than having aid to these seniors that needed to stay in their homes. He also said that seniors need to move out of their homes because they're too big and they need to open up the housing market.
He did say that as well.
But the thing is, just to wrap up, I have written to Representatives Malloy and Moore and Senator Curtis, and I'm suggesting that if we're going to give property tax relief to disabled veterans, it probably ought to be a federally run program through the VA, where citizens across the country will pay equally into something like this, rather than having county taxpayers burdened by these things and adding to their property tax. It's one of the major things that our property taxes pay for, and nobody needs to be told how much that was an issue this year.
Can you share when they ran the study, if Dan McKay's bill did go through, how much it would have actually saved the regular household, the study that the
$3.33
Exactly.
per household.
Yeah.
If you did not support low-income seniors, 9,526 households of low-income seniors got help in 2024.
Yeah.
And he misstates stuff. He lies to people. And in fact, his bill got vetoed last year by the governor, one of 6 bills that was vetoed. Okay. And he waited till the last minute to do it. 11 o'clock, I got a phone call and he had till midnight. But anyway, the thing is that all of the county treasurers in the state of Utah wrote to the governor to oppose the bill. And they're opposed to it again. Instead of going back to the treasurers and the auditors to work with them on a good program, he's now going and talking to the council members and he's talking to county commissioners and trying to get them to go along with his program and not working with the people who know how to administer it. So be watching that at the legislature this year. But I want to thank you both for your votes last year in the legislature. And you might not be aware, but 18 Republicans joined with the 14 Democrats to vote against this bill, including the Speaker of the House and the original co-sponsor.
Thank you for sharing that. And he will be retooling the bill and running again this year. All right, we have time for 2 more questions here.
We did get it.
No, we don't have time for it. Go ahead, Tris.
On the issue of water.
Issue of water. The data storage centers.
Yeah, because they all tend to use what's called an open loop evaporative chiller to cool the data center, which means they basically evaporate drinking water into the sky to cool the data center. They don't recover any of it.
So it would be kind of nice if we could disincentivize them from coming to the state. It would be a good way of holding on to our water. Is that something you might consider?
Personally, yes. However, the body that we serve in tends to not consider disincentivizing anything economic, period. So one of the things that we've talked about, and I think Representative Owens might be running this, I'm not sure, is something to require a study when those come in to assess the environmental impacts, right? Because one of the things that we've learned is that biting towards the middle of the cookie doesn't always work. So we're trying to get the data that we need in order to do things like that so that we can make that progress. But that is something that has been discussed in our caucus.
Currently, as it stands, these data storage centers, am I saying it right? Is it data storage centers? They are not legally required to report how much water is being used through their centers. And I think there is someone who's going to be running a bill that will require that information so that we can use that information to kind of gauge how do we want to regulate those centers more.
Yeah, that's important that they tell us how much they're using.
Yeah.
The city could tell us how much they're using.
Exactly.
Okay. One more. We'll be around after if you want to ask us questions. I just
Yes. No, I'll be around. No other questions? I want to cross promote one last thing. Tomorrow, Yellcrest Community Council is having their monthly community council. It's going to happen at Anderson Foothill at 6:30. This is going to be a big one to come if you guys are available. They asked me to kind of get the word out to people. I don't know if you guys know, but East High, the area around the East High on 13th East, formerly the VA hospital, used to have a dry cleaner there back in the 50s, 60s or so. That and back then they were not heavily regulated, and they were dumping a lot of harmful material down into the ground that has now leached into the groundwater. Tomorrow, Yellcrest will be having several folks coming from Huntsman Cancer Institute to come report. That area has been designated as a federal Superfund area that they are keeping an eye on, and they're going to be reporting on what they're finding and testing the groundwater and the soil there. There has been, it's still preliminary. There's no definite findings, but there has been a group of people who live in that area who have melanoma cancer, a lot of the same cancer. And so they're going to be presenting and kind of talking through what the Huntsman Center and all that Superfund stuff is happening there. 6:30. It starts at 6:30 tomorrow at Anderson Foothill, and the meeting lasts for about an hour. Yes, it is. It's live streamed as well. Yep. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hey, you two are on the ballot, aren't you? Are you guys both up for election? Hey, they're both up. Please vote for these two. Okay, thanks. Meeting adjourned. Wait, do you have something?
We're done, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fairmont Park, we have a newsletter that was created by Sarah Woolsey. I'd like to thank her for that, but it talks about all the things that were done in Fairmont Park this year. And we are going to have our meeting on Monday, January 12th. It'll be via Zoom, and we're hoping to get some more information regarding the new park design for Fairmont Park. I'm not sure we're going to get an actual rendering, but it'll be a chance to talk about some of the tree removals and some of the other things they're going to be doing. So that's it.
All right, thanks.
If
And-
anyone wants a newsletter.
And then signature gathering, right? Over here in the corner. Okay. All right. Thanks. We made it.